This is my front deck, and the floor of this deck is 40 inches off the ground. The snow is right over the railing.
There she is, minus 40. That's a cold day. Look at that. That haze. Now we're like 9 o'clock in the morning here. That haze is all of the moisture in the air, the humidity is freezing right in the air. And it freezes into crystals and it creates this ice fog. There's actually particles of ice in the air, fine tiny little bits that create this effect that make it look like fog. Look at that. My goodness. There's not too much freeze, fortunately, because it's cold enough. I've got a heater pad that I wrapped around this camera, so I'm hoping that it'll last for 2 or 3 minutes and excuse me, 2 or 3 minutes and give us I'm at the edge of the village here, not the village, but the little cluster where I live. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a little look at that. That's not something that probably a lot of people see very often, so if ever. So that's the Great White North, folks. Temperatures minus 40, minus 42, and a full-blown ice fog here.
It's the next day. As you can see, the sun is out. It's warmed up to a minus 32, nice and mild, and I'm out here cleaning up all the snow and drifting from the previous couple of days.
Trying to find the car. We have located it. I'm trying to just dig it out now. I have to show you this, how hard this snow has gotten to be. My golly, I've had the snow blow all around it. Until I got the snow blowing done here, you couldn't even see it from this side. Anyway, we're finding it. But the snow here, the wind is so hard, even though the snow is powder. Let's see if I can chip away at it here. That's a piece of metal. That's how hard the snow is, and yet when it falls, it's just powder. Get out of my own shadow there. It's so cold that it falls as powder. What happens in the Great White North is that these machines, here, let me move this for a second, have shear pins. You can see that. They're basically like bolts, but if you can see, there's a little groove there and a little groove there, and a lock nut. And these are made fairly soft compared to a regular bolt. And what they do, as you can see, this just turns, which it's not supposed to, and that's because that little bolt, that shear pin, broke off. And that happens right there, frozen, as usual. Sometimes they just get really frozen and stuck in there, and you got to get rough. Show no mercy, no prisoners, just take them out. Now here's what's left of that other shear pin. So you can see that most of it broke off and it's just fallen away out in the snow somewhere. So that's gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the new one in. Then it's very simple. You just find your spot, punch it out like that. This one here, I'm going to feed from the back. And the only reason I'm doing that is so that the nut will be easily available at the front to tighten it. And that nut is just a standard type of nut with the neoprene insert in it to make it lock. And we'll be back in business. The whole thing takes about 5 minutes. It took me longer to get the camera out and set it up than it did to actually do the job. But I thought some people don't ever get to see stuff like this, so. And there we are, ready to go again. Now that's my last shear pin. I usually keep at least a couple. No, I've got one more. They come in 2 packs. So I have one more. It was my last pack. So I'll have to make sure that I remember to pick them up. I usually only bust one of these maybe once every couple or 3 years. But this year, our weather has been just nuts. It's been warmer and colder and ice building up that we've never normally had before. And when these augers hit some chunks of ice, most of the time on a big machine like this, it'll break it up and throw it away. But sometimes that ice is really frozen down, or it's a big chunk, and then these shear pins do what they're supposed to do and break off. Okay, so that's a quick little bit on another of the many things we do for maintenance around here. Maintenance is a pretty regular thing. This ice cold weather we get, that's hard on stuff. It's just, it makes your hands cold. Everything you do is hard to do, but it's hard on equipment too, and you just really got to stay on top of it, fix it right. Never put a regular bolt in there. The bolts are much harder than these shear pins, and if that bolt fails to shear off, the major damage will occur inside the crankcase. And, well, you don't want to go there. Everybody have a great day. Hope it was of some interest to you. But it was an awful lot of work digging it out. It was buried completely out of sight. And to be completely honest with you, trolling is not very good at this time of year. So I might just forget the whole thing. Anyway, we got the snow blown out of the driveway. The snowblower's fixed. I got the sleigh dug out for my snowmobile to tow around. And I think it's time for a cup of tea. Everybody have a good one. Whew. Still out of breath and getting old for this kind of stuff. See you later.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's maybe just a little bit of a peek into the weather and life that we live up in the far, far north here. A little bit of education to some people and maybe old-time news to others. Have a great day, safe week. We'll see you down the trail.